Yo, so season 2 of Slow Horses has been consumed, and I think it's official, man. I love this show. Oh my god, it was so good. It was so much fun. It was is funny thing. I was in the hospital speaking to my doctor, and we are talking about films and stuff, and she was just like, "Oh, something I'm really enjoying: Slow Horses on Apple." So yeah, had a little chat about that. Yo, this is really good, right? Um, so like season 1, you've got one director covering it all. This time it's Jeremy Lovering. Okay, so episode 1, Last Stop, is directed by Will Smith. Is written by Will Smith, sorry. Episode 2, From Upshot with Love, is written by Morwenna Banks. She also writes episode 3, Drinking Games. Episode 4, Cicada, is written by Mark Denton and Jonny Stockwood. They both collaborated on episode 5 as well, Ballroom Politics. And episode 6, Old Scores, is written by Will Smith. All right, so in this one, we have got back again Gary Oldman as Jackson Lamb, Kirsten Scott Thomas as Diana Taverner, Jack Lowden as River Cartwright, Saskia Reeves as Catherine Standish, Rosalind Eleazar as Louisa Guy, Dustin Demri-Burns as Min Harper, Christopher Chung as Roddy Hoy. And this time we have 2 new agents, right? There's Shirley Dander, played by Aimee-Ffion Edwards, and Marcus Longridge as Kadiff Kirwan. Over in Regent's Park, we have got James Spiderweb, played by Freddie Fox, Nick Duffy, played by Chris Riley, Ingrid Tierney, played by Sophie Okendo, who actually I don't think she really does appear. Yeah, I don't think any of those appeared. That's very odd. Let us have a little check on something. Yeah, it's I don't know. I mean, mostly, right? You have those characters. Now I think let's just have a quick check on something. Okay, we have these people. Okay, so other people that appeared: Andrei Chinevsky is played by Merrick Vorst. Nicholas Katinsky is played by Rad Serbizij. Alex Trooper is played by Catherine McCormick. Molly Duran, played by Naomi Wivner. We've got Kryl Asimov, played by Yerden Telemizov. Peter Volodin, played by Zachary Bararov. Arkady Paskin, played by Alec Utkov. Peter Judd, played by Samuel West. We got Viktor Krynov, played by Branko Jurevic. Duncan Trooper, played by Adrian Rawlings. Kelly Trooper, played by Tamzin Topolsky. Yes, so that's the rest of the cast that was not mentioned over on Wikipedia. Shame on them. Shame on them. Right, so the gist of season 2, right? So long buried Cold War secrets emerge, which threatens to bring carnage to the streets of London. When a liaison with a Russian villains takes a fatal turn, our hapless heroes must overcome their individual failings even, and raise their spy game in a race to prevent a catastrophic incident. Uh, so yeah, that was it. Now, so season 1 was pretty much based on Slow Horses, the first book. There's a few little changes, but it was pretty much there. Season 2 is based on the second book, Dead Lions. Okay, so some of the changes in season 1, I mentioned like the way they ended it all, giving us that certain information, right, that we don't get in the book at that point. But it makes sense, right? These are all the changes that we saw in season 1. It made sense. You're like, okay, yes, or oh yeah, that actually has improved the story, and especially for the visual viewing. It's a different when it's in a book, right? Because you can add a whole heap of narrative and composition and just all these other things, but with TV, it can be a bit clunky doing certain stuff. So the changes made sense. Now, Dead Lions, they've made a lot more changes. Man. I mean, the glass house was a big one. In the book, it's the shard. So in the TV show, they're saying the glass house, right? But this is the thing, right? Because a lot of times when this stuff happens, Stephen King is a big example, right? The author's like, I hate this. This is ridiculous. So, yeah, Mick Herron, he was perfectly fine with the changes. He was consulted, or he suggested some of them himself, right? And they were all to help the plot. All right, because I imagine, trying to get into the shard could have been a pain in the ass, right? Or just saying the shard, right? Referring to certain things, in certain contexts, that can be problematic. So I get the changes. And actually, right, you just think some of those things they did, yeah, that works. Like there's a thing with Ming and the Russians. Now, in the book, it's a pen. In this, it's a gun. And you just be like, yeah, of course it would be though, right? Because of course they would have guns, right? So, that makes sense. And even in the book though, I feel when I read it, I was just like, oh, they're saying it's a pen. It was probably a gun though, right? They're saying it to put him at ease and, so yeah, there's things like that. Just the whole situation in Upshot, that's different. That's been changed. Now, the gist of a lot of what went down still goes down, but in a slightly different way, just a slightly different way. Some of the relationships, and they didn't add in this one part. Didn't and in this one part that happens towards the end. But that's all fine. That's all fine because it ended well, right? The whole situation in the office was different, but again, makes sense. So yeah, this boom, very much enjoyed. I was curious to see who they were gonna get to play Danda and Longridge. You know, and like the one difference is, I think in the book, Danda has shorter hair. I feel she's got a skin, like not a skin head, but a fade kind of thing. So that I think the hair's slightly different, but and maybe the build's slightly different. But everyone plays how the character is, though. You know, if there's a slightly different look, you still go, oh yeah, that's that cat. Like if they didn't say the names, you would know who they were, you know, by their actions and mannerisms and all of that kind of thing. So it yeah, this was fun. I really friggin' I really did enjoy it, man. Like just seeing the beginning, right? Seeing the whole Dickie Bow situation, because I think you're curious to know how will this play out? How will they capture this? Right? Done really well. The whole Min situation done really well. You know, just to stop in the glass house. That was really good. Right? The spider web thing slightly changed, but yeah, I definitely slightly changed because I feel we'll see some stuff in season 3. It seems well, I know. I'll tell you later. That's for another video, people. Right? But yeah, like it still I think, man, it felt good. It felt good. And I think we're giving some characters a bit more onus to do them, right? Like Standish gets more play in the TV show. You know, like Roddy, he's still irritating as fuck, right? That's his character. But you know, we get this new thread added to it. There's a train situation, doesn't happen in the book. You know, so we get these new things which really do bring these characters to life, man. And as I said, it helps the story. Nothing added detracts from the story, right? They're making Jackson is, you know, Jackson's uncouth, right? Uncouth. He's as scruffy as fuck. His bodily functions are not good, you know. But here's the thing, right? In the book, you do get the whole, hey, mess with my Joes, I'm coming for you, right? So that's a big thing. We know that about Lamb. Now, in the TV show, they've added a bit more humanity to Jackson, which doesn't necessarily always come across. So the stuff at the end, right? Just the oh god, who did he have he had a conversation with someone, with River. That's the thing, with River at the start, right? There's certain things that we see from Jackson and that we have Jackson do that you think, okay, yeah, that feels better, right? That feels better because he's a dick for sure, but you know that he's got his people's back in a twisted way. You know what I mean? He's not gonna ever tell someone they did good, right? He's not patting you on the back, but he will have your back in the boardroom, right? He will have your back when it counts, and I think they are bringing that to light more. You know, which I think is probably a good thing, because if you run it the other way, it might put a lot of people off. You know what I mean? So yeah, just all of these things, man, I really dug. And it's different enough from the book where you're just, you know, you are still freaking interested. Man, I was glued. I was glued to this. And yo, I was, you know, at the end of season 2, I was just so happy I had season 3. You know what I mean? Like season 1 and 2 was filmed back to back. Season 3 and 4 were filmed back to back. So season 3 is dropping shortly, but season 4 will be ready next year. And I think they've renewed it for 5 and 6. I believe that's right. I may be wrong. I may have misconstrued somewhere, but I do believe that, yeah, we do have a renewal for 5 and 6, which is good. And what I didn't mention last time out, the theme song, Strange Game, it was a new song written by Mick Jagger, who also performs it, right? Which you're just like, oh shit. Well, that's fun, isn't it? Because I remember when I first heard it, I was a bit like, that sounds like, but it can't, no, it can't be. Right? No, there's no way that will actually be Jagger. And it is, motherfuckers. Right? How fucking crazy is that? But it works so well. It works so well. So, yeah, I am loving Slow Horses. Right? I think I'm up to book 6 or maybe book 7. But yeah, I'm very curious to continue the book series and continue to see the TV series. So, you know, that's it for season 2, and we'll give you our thoughts on well, the first 2 episodes of season 3. So go check that out. Yeah, go check that out now.